Okay, everyone. So guys, we were looking into the Azure data engineering. So Azure data engineering is nothing but what? Guys, Azure is a name used by the Microsoft. Okay. As you know, Azure is a name used by the Microsoft to market their cloud services. To market their cloud services, guys. Here we say it as a cloud services, not the products, guys. Okay. So Azure is nothing but it's a name used by the Microsoft to market their cloud services. Then we have the data, guys. Data is nothing but what? Information. Okay. And then we have what's that? Engineering. So engineering is nothing but what? Application of techniques, guys. Application of techniques on the data by using the Microsoft Azure. Application of techniques on the data by using the Microsoft Azure. Okay. So hence we can say the Azure data engineering is nothing but this is basically a bunch of cloud services, guys. As you already know, yesterday we have discussed it. Okay. It's a bunch of cloud services. It's a bunch of cloud services. So using these services, guys, what are the tasks we can achieve it? Everyone, what are the tasks we can achieve it? Let's try to see this. So using these cloud services, we can achieve the following task here, guys. What are those? The first one we can say it here as what, sir? Everyone, the first one we can say it here as what? Data migration. Then we have the data integration. Then we have the data summarization. And then we have the data visualization. Okay. So these are all the services or these are all the tasks we can achieve it by using the Microsoft Azure data engineering. Okay. So these are all the things we have it, guys. So Azure data engineering is nothing but it's a bunch of cloud services using which we can perform the following services. What are those? Data migration job we can do. Then we can do the data integration job. Then we can have the data summarization and visualization as it is. So now, guys, these all are called as what, guys? The task we can achieve it by using the Azure data engineering, wherein here the major part of the whole data engineering is nothing but data. That is nothing but the data. The other name for the data is called as what, guys? Information. The other name for the data we call it as what, guys? Information. Okay. The other name for the data we call it as what, guys? Information. So now just 1 minute. Okay, guys. So here we can see, guys, the Azure data engineering is nothing but, guys, everyone. So Azure data engineering is nothing but it's a bunch of cloud services wherein using these we can perform the following. What's it? Data migration, data integration, data summarization, and the data visualization jobs. Okay, wherein the first one, let's start with the data, guys. When we talk about the data engineering, so guys, let's see, first of all, we require the data. So what is data? Data is nothing but what? Information. So from where do we get this data or the information? Let's try to discuss it first. Data or the information, we get it from the source of data, guys. Source of data. So what is the source of data, guys? Generally, what do you mean or what do you understand when we use the source of data, guys? Source of data. So here we can say the source of data is as follows here, guys. Okay, what's it? The source of data is as follows here. This is a source of data. So we can say we can get the data from the social networking sites. We can get the data from the social networking sites. We can get the data from the social networking sites. So what are social networking sites, guys? We can say it here as what's it, guys? Facebook, Insta, that is Instagram. Then we can say Snapchat. Okay, Facebook, Insta, Snapchat, WhatsApp, LinkedIn. Okay, these are all what's it, guys? These are all are called as what? LinkedIn. All these are called as what, guys? All these are called as what? Social networking sites from where we receive the data. Wherein, guys, wherein when we talk about the data from all these sources, guys, we receive the data in the form of what's it, guys? Many more are there, but I'm mentioning few. So, guys, here we can say we can receive the data in the form of what's it, guys? Massive amount of data. Massive amount of data. That means huge and bulky data we get it. Okay. But this is not the only source from where we get the data, guys. We can have many other sources as well. Okay. So let's try to see what are the other sources we can have it from where we get the data. So to understand the data engineering concept, first of all, you have to understand the data, guys. Then we can move further with the further process here. Okay. So here we can say, guys, we can say what's that, guys? So here is nothing but we can say the data or the information we received from the source of information. Wherein this is not the only source from where we receive the data, guys. We can have many other sources as well. We can say the sources of data, guys. We can say the following are the sources of data from where we receive the data. That is called as what? Let's say, guys, banking applications. We receive the data from what? Banking applications. We receive the data from the banking applications. So what is banking applications? The applications which are used at the banking sector level is called as what? Banking applications. So banking applications are nothing but applications which are used at the banks, which are used at the banks, that is the financial sectors. All these are called as what, guys? Banking applications. So where from here also we receive the data, and this data we receive it in what? Huge data. We receive it in what? Huge data format. That is nothing but massive amount of data, very large data. In the same way, guys, the next and very trending source from where we can expect the data or the information, the very source we can expect the data from here is nothing but, guys, we can say everyone, we can say it as what, guys? Everyone, we can say the live streaming process. It's a very trending one, guys. Right now, we get the data from the live streaming process. So what in the live streaming process? The process where we have the data, the process where we have the data, guys. Okay. The process where we have the data is called as what? Live streaming process. The process where we have the data is called as a live streaming process. Okay. The process where we have the data is called as the live streaming process. So live streaming process is nothing but what? Here, the data which we received from the live streaming process. That is continuous process, such as for example, guys, such as for example, we have the stock market. The stock market. So what is my stock market? The shares, trading, okay, shares, trading. And nowadays, even you have the one more thing which is called as what? Bitcoin. All this comes under what, guys? Stock market. So where can you see here? This will keeps on, okay, guys, keeps on radiating. This keeps on changing here, guys. The value of a share, suppose today morning it is having 1,000 rupees. Okay. Immediately in the evening or the next hour, it may go to 1,500. Or then afterwards, it may come up to 1,800. And but by the evening, it may come down to 900 also. Okay. So whereas this is called as what? Continuous radiating or continuous changing here, values here. Okay. So whereas all this is called as what? The value which changes for every hour, for every minute or every second. This is called as what? Live streaming process. Such as, apart from this, you have, what is it, guys? Live cricket match is there. Live cricket match. The cricket match is what? Basically, even the cricket match is live now. The score will keep on changing there. Am I right? Yes, everyone. So all this is called as what, guys? Live streaming data. So even the live streaming data is in the which format called, here you will get the big data form. That we call it as what? Big data. The big data name, it itself says big data. Big means what, guys? Huge volume of the data. Huge volume, huge. Data means what? Information. So huge volume of the data is called as what? Big data, guys. Okay. Then apart from this, guys, we can also get the data, okay, which is nothing but the another source. We can say it can be human generated data. Human generated means what? The data which is generated by you and me. Human generated data and machine generated data. Machine generated data, human generated data and the machine generated data. Human generated data and the machine generated data, guys. So you can also get the data from the human generated or the machine generated data, where the human generated data and the machine generated data, this is nothing but, this is also a part of what's it, guys? Big data only. Okay. This is also the part of what, guys? Big data only. So we can say, guys, human generated or the machine generated data. Human generated or the machine generated data. That is called as what? Big data. Then apart from this human generated or the machine generated, we can also get the data from the, yes, guys, we can also get the data from the another source, that is called as what? IoT sensors. IoT sensors. So these sensors measures, what is it, guys? Pressure, gas, temperature, speed. Okay. All this, nothing but, it is called as what? IoT sensors. These are called as what, guys? IoT sensors. So here we can also get the data from these sources. So from whereas when we talk about these sources, all these are nothing but it's a part of big data only, guys. It's a part of what? Big data only. Big data only. So when we talk about the big data, guys, as you know, huge volume of the data is called as what? Big data. When we talk about the big data, finally, we are into the big data, guys. So what is a big data basically? So big data, okay, guys, big data is nothing but everyone. Big data is nothing but what, guys? Big data is nothing but, guys, everyone. Big data is nothing but, guys, the massive amount of data or the huge volume of the data is called as what? Big data. massive amount of data or the huge volume of the data is called as what? Big data. The massive amount of data and the huge volume of the data is called as big data. And the big data is classified into three categories. What are those? The first one is called as what, guys? Structured data. Semi-structured data. Third one is what? Unstructured data. These are the three categories you have it for the big data. That means the big data is classified or divided into three categories. What are those guys? Structured data, semi-structured data, and the unstructured data. So when we talk about the structured data, guys, the structured data is nothing but the data which is already kept in a proper form of a structure where the user can understand it very well. Okay, guys. So whereas you can say this is called as a data in the form of a table. So table in the form of what, guys? Rows and columns. Data in the form of what, guys? Here, rows and columns. The data in the form of what? Rows and columns. The data in the form of what? Rows and columns. Okay. The data is in the form of what? Rows and columns. Okay, guys. The data is in the form of what, guys? Rows and columns. Okay. So the data is in the form of rows and columns. For example, you have the name, ID, job, salary. These are called as what? Columns. And the rows in it, consider I'm using ALN, something like this, the ID number, and the job is software engineer, salary is 60,000. Then you can say Bobby, SSC, senior software engineer, and I can say 70,000. Can share. This is called as a, guys, this is called as a tabular formatted data. That is called a structured data. If you just look into this data, you will understand, guys, what kind of data it is. So this you can say, this data is related to some employees. This data is related to some employees where the employees information is recorded here, guys. Okay. This is called as a structured data. And what is the semi-structured data, guys? Semi-structured data is nothing but the data which is recorded, okay, in the form of what? JSON files, or the data which is recorded in the form of HTML files, or the data which is recorded in the form of XML files, guys. These are all called as what? Semi-structured data, guys. It is called as what? Semi-structured data. So here you can say the data which is recorded in the form of a JSON, HTML, and the XML is called as what, guys? Semi-structured data, wherein, guys, this data, the user cannot understand it directly, but still the user can understand it. That means semi means what? Half structured, not fully structured, but the half structured it is. Okay, guys. Everyone, please following, respond it, guys. Please respond, everyone.
Yeah.
Okay. So here you can say, guys, semi-structured. So we can say semi-structured is nothing but it is in the form of what? JSON, HTML, XML. Yeah. Whereas what do you mean by JSON first of all, let us try to understand this JSON. How does the JSON file looks like and what is a JSON? Guys, everyone must be knowing. If not, just have a look on this. JSON stands for what, guys? JSON stands for JavaScript. Everyone, JavaScript. Yes, JavaScript object. JavaScript object notation files. JavaScript object notation files, wherein the JavaScript object notation files, the data will be recorded in the form of what's that, guys? Key value pair. In the curly braces, the data will be recorded in the form of curly braces and in the form of key value pair. Key followed by a colon. Then you have the value, then pair. Key value pair. The data is recorded in the form of what? Curly braces and in the form of what, guys? Key value pair. Key value pair. So here you can say, guys, the JSON. So now tell me, everybody, when we talk about the keys, what are the keys? The keys are nothing but guys, the column names are called as the keys here. All these are called as what? Column names. And these column names are called as what? Keys here, guys. So let's try to make it off here. Open the curly brace. I'll write the same data in the JSON format. So make sure keys are nothing but the column names, guys. Everyone. The keys are nothing but what, guys? Column names are referred as the keys here. The column names are referred as the keys here. These are called as keys, guys. All the keys followed by the colon here. Okay. So now I'll write the first key. First key is what, guys? Name. And the value of the key is what? Alien. Na? Alien is a character. That is a string data. So I'm just putting in the quotes here. Followed by next, you have a next more, one more line is there. Then your second key. What's the second key, guys? ID. Though the key has a numeric data, you will have to put the key under the quotes only. And now what's the value here? You can say 554. So that's a numeric value you have it. If we don't put it into the quotes here. And then next one you have it as what? Job, guys. So what's the job? The job is a SC, that is called a software engineer. Put it here under the single quotes as it's a string data. Use a comma here. And then next one you have it, guys. Everyone, salary. So now when you talk about the salary, guys, colon should be there. And the salary is what's it? 60,000. That's it. So this is the end of the first document. It is called as what, guys? JSON document. This document is called as what? JSON document. But you have only one row is there. What about the second row? Use a comma here, guys. Then you will have the second row here. I'm just copying this. See here. Just change the values here. What is that? Instead of Alan, we'll make it as what, guys? Bobby. Instead of this one. And instead of this one, we can say SC 70,000. Got it now? Finally, there will be no further commas here, guys. That's it. Okay. So this is nothing but the end of the JSON document where you have two documents are there. This is the first document and the second document. Okay. So now here using this also you can understand the data, but not fully, guys. But not fully. You can understand the data, but not fully here. Okay. We can understand the data, but not fully. So this is called as what, guys? This is called as what, everyone? This is called as what? The document called what? JSON document. Okay. Which is one of the semi-structured data, guys. Which is one of the semi-structured data. And the thirdly, we have the unstructured data, guys. What is unstructured data? Unstructured data is nothing but, guys, there is no structure for the data, basically. There will be no structure for the data, such as, for example, guys, you have the photos in your mobile phone. Then you will have the videos, photos, videos. Then you have the chat history. Audio. Yeah. Voice notes. Voice notes. All this comes under what, guys? Unstructured data. Structured data. Unstructured. There is no structure actually. Okay. So whereas these are the three categories of data you have it: structured, semi-structured, and the unstructured. Whereas the job of a data engineer, the job of a data engineer job of a data engineer is nothing but to convert this kind of a unstructured data. One of the job you can say. So unstructured data, what's it, guys? Semi-structured. Then semi-structured to what's it, guys? Structured. So whereas this is nothing but the data engineering activity, one of the data engineering activity. That is conversion of this one into the, yes guys, conversion of this unstructured data, semi-structured towards it guys, structured data. So this is called as what? The data we deal here with. Okay, guys. So this is nothing but the, yes, guys, this is nothing but the, everyone, this is nothing but the semi-structured or unstructured and the structured data structure we have it. But now, when you have this kind of a structured, semi-structured or the unstructured, guys, we require to store the data into the storages. In the Azure, we require to store the data in what? Storages. So we can say Azure storages. So altogether, when we talk about the Azure storages, guys, we have 90 plus storages. How many? 90 plus storages. We have what's it? 90 plus storages. What are those? The first one we can say, guys, Azure Blob Storage. Azure Blob Storage, where the Azure Blob Storage is the very basic storage, guys, wherein it blob stands for what? Binary large object. And this we can store it here. The data called what's it, guys? All kind of data we can store it here. Any kind of data. That is, it can be unstructured, semi-structured, or structured. Whatever the volume of the data, whatever the size of the data you want, you can store it here in the basic storage of Azure. Whereas this is called as a limited storage. That means how much is the limitation for this, guys? 500 TB. You cannot store the data more than 500 TB here. This is the drawback you have it. 500 TB means what? Further, you cannot store it. This is the drawback you have it. So now to avoid that, guys, so Azure has come out with their another storage that is called as what, guys? Azure Data Lake Gen 2. Azure Data Lake Gen 2. We have what's it, guys? Azure Data Lake Gen 2. So Azure Data Lake Gen 2. So what is Azure Data Lake Gen 2? Azure Data Lake Gen 2 can also store the data in the following formats. That is called structured, semi-structured, and the unstructured. We can store it here, guys. But here, when we talk about the structured, semi-structured, or unstructured, here you can say unlimited data can be stored here. No limit for storing the data. Unlimited. Okay. So this is the advancement they have made it. So prior to this Azure Data Lake Gen 1, sorry, Gen 2, there was one more storage, guys. Now it is not in use. It has already retired. But just for your knowledge sake, I'm writing it. It was Azure Data Lake Gen 1. This was also there, guys, but now it is retired. In the last June 2024, it is retired. So now you need not worry on this, the Azure Data Lake Gen 1. So now at the time of migration, they have suggested to move the data from the Gen 1 to the Gen 2. So now the storage is what available? Blob storage or the ADLS Gen 2. These are the two storages we have right now, guys. Okay, the next one, guys. The third one we can say, guys. Azure SQL database. That means using of SQL, SQL Server. Using of SQL Server in Azure Cloud is called as what? Azure SQL database. So when you have a Azure SQL database, you can store the data again in the form of what, guys? Rows and columns. Rows and columns. That is in the form of what, guys? Tables. That is in the form of what? Tables. So here you can store it. And limitation is depends. You can decide the limit as per the requirement you have it, guys. And the fourth storage, you can say, guys, the very trending here, Azure Cosmos DB, where it is called as what, guys? No SQL database. And as there is no SQL database, guys, you can store the data here in the following formats. That means we can store what's it, guys? Except to the unstructured, we can store the semi-structured and structured as well. We can store the semi-structured and structured data. We can store it into the Azure Cosmos DB. Likewise, you have one more database here that is called as what? Azure MongoDB. where this is also called as what? NoSQL database. So here you can see, guys, when there is no SQL database, you can store the data here in the form of what? Semi-structured or the structured format. That's it, guys. Okay. MongoDB. So this is the one you have it, semi-structured format. That's it, guys. Okay. So in the same way, the next one, what is the next one you have it, guys? The sixth one. You can say Azure Synapse Analytics, where this is called as the data warehouse of Azure. It is called as what, guys? Data warehouse of Azure. Data warehouse of Azure. So now, guys, we can say Azure Synapse Analytics is nothing but the data warehouse of Azure, guys. It is called as the data warehouse of Azure. It is called as the data warehouse of Azure. Wherein, what is the data warehouse you have for the GCP, guys? Google Cloud Platform. GCP data warehouse is what? BigQuery. In the same way, Amazon Web Services is there. AWS. So for that, what's the data warehouse, guys? Redshift. Likewise, you have the data warehouse here in the Azure, that is called as what? Azure Synapse Analytics. So likewise, we have many more storages, guys. So before we move ahead, guys, do you have any idea about the data warehouse, guys? What is a data warehouse? Everyone, please respond.
Yeah.
Yeah. So data warehouse is nothing but what, guys? Data warehouse is nothing but it's a place where all summarized records are recorded.
Yeah, it's a single source of truth where we can store all the historical data.
Yes, where all the summarized records are recorded. It's a place where all summarized records are. Where all the summarized records are recorded. Data warehouse is a place where all summarized records are recorded, guys. Where all summarized records are recorded. That is called as what? Azure Data Warehouse. Okay. Wherein the next one, guys, what is it you have it? To understand this data warehouse more briefly, more understandable thing, I can tell you one example here, guys. Let's take a book here. Guys, when we talk about the book here, so the book is nothing but what? The book is the collection of papers. Am I right? Let's just say you have a textbook here, guys. Everyone, let's say you have a textbook here. You have a textbook. No, guys, there is a textbook. Textbook for the English. So here, the textbook is divided into two parts. What is that? The first one is a summary paper. Summary paper. Yeah, guys. The first one is a summary paper, or you can say index paper, summary paper, summary paper, index paper. Okay, prefix paper. These are all the. Can you see here, guys? These are all the everyone. These are all the things we have it: summary paper, index paper, and prefix paper. That's it, guys. Summary paper, index paper, and the prefix paper. You have it. Wherein the next one, guys, you have the summary paper, index paper, and prefix paper. You have it here. In the same way, the second part of the book, which is nothing but the detailed stories, will be there here. Detailed stories will be available here. That means, suppose in the index paper, you have the little angel as a topic. The little angel, page number 1 to 20. So that little angel from page number 1 to 20, the page number 1 to 20 will be available here. 1 to 20. So the story name is what? The Little Angel. Now guys, tell me, if you want to purchase this book, you'll refer the index paper or summary paper, or the book in detail you'll read it there in the shop. We are going to read only the summary paper now, guys. We are going to read the summary paper and take a decision whether to purchase this book or not. If you want to know what is there in the story, then you will have to start reading the same. So in the same way, guys, the database is just like your book here. The database is just like a book. Database is also just like a book here, wherein the database is divided into two parts. What are those two parts, guys? The first part I can say here, guys, everyone. The first part we can say it here, guys, everyone. The first part we can say it here as what's it, guys? Transaction database. And here you can say data warehouse. Data warehouse or warehouse database, whatever you want, the same thing is there. Whereas all the records, the detailed records from page number, you can see here, guys, detailed stories. The detailed stories will be there into the transaction database. That is from the 1 page to the 20th page for the first lesson, or all the detailed information will be there into the transaction database. But what about data warehouse, guys? What about data warehouse? Data warehouse is nothing but it's a place where all summarized records are recorded. As you know, the data, all summarized records are recorded. The summary paper, the summary of the book, that is nothing but the gist of the book, where you will have what's it, guys? The whole thing given in a manner here, that is in a shortcut manner. Can you see here? Will be recorded here. That means the story is here. Summary is along with the page numbers. So if you were to buy the book, simply you will refer the summary paper rather than referring the detailed stories here. So in the same way, the database is classified into two parts. The first one is the data transaction database and data warehouse. So transaction database will have the detailed records which we can verify. Suppose you have the story here. The first lesson you have it here like this. Guys, everyone, the little angel. Page number 1, PG1 to PG25. Page number 1 to page number 25. The data is there. That means if you want to read and know the detailed information, you can see here you have already the page number 1 to 25 is there. But where is this 1 to 25 is there? The 1 to 25 or 24, whatever you have it, 1 to 25 is there in the transaction database. So you want to read the story, go to the transaction database. You want to see what is the story, how many stories are covered here. So that means you can refer the data warehouse. So in the same way, using this detailed summary paper, you will decide whether to buy the book or not. So unknowingly, what you're doing? Unknowingly, you're performing the comparative study. That is called as what? Analysis here, guys. Unknowingly, you're performing what? Analysis. So using this, you can analyze to whether to buy the book or not. So unknowingly, we are comparing these two things. So now the data which is there in the data warehouse is used for comparative study and decision making. The data which is there in the transaction database is used for what? Verification and validation purpose. That's it, guys. Okay. So this is nothing but the things about the data warehouse and the database. Yes, guys. Everyone, please tell me. Any doubt now? Okay. So that's it, guys. Here for the day here we are having. And from tomorrow onwards, we are going to start the practicals on this, guys. How to start with the Azure and how to move on with the Azure, guys. So tomorrow, the same time, 9 o'clock, we'll have the session. So all of you be punctual and join by 9 o'clock so that we can have the classes from 9 to 10 on the daily basis, guys. Okay. And meanwhile, if you want, you can refer this, okay, basically this one, guys, my YouTube channel for more videos.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, this is my YouTube channel. And if you have any doubt also, you can just find me.
Yeah, Samir, could you please share the course content?
For course content, you just go to the website here, guys. This is my course content, what I follow here. Okay. I'm sharing you the this one, my website here on the chat box. You can just have it here, the cloudinnovatives.com. This is the pattern I follow. This is my phone number, this is my YouTube channel, and this is my this one. You have it, the mail, that is nothing but the website address. So you can just use it here. You will find the detailed content, what are the topics, what is the lesson wise, what are the topics we have it, everything you will get in detail there. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's it, guys, for the day today, and tomorrow we'll continue at the same time. Thank you, everyone, and the recordings, everything you can check it on my YouTube channel as well. Okay, thank you, guys.
Thank you, sir.